Welcome back to Auto Amateur. I'm James, and in this video, we're going to be installing a 2-channel dash cam in my 991.2. Let's go check it out. You know, I have to say, considering I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching fail videos that involve cars and dash cams, and I've been doing that for years, you'd probably assume that I already have a dash cam in my car, and I don't. But now I've taken the plunge on a friend's recommendation, and I've gone for the BlackVue LTE cloud-enabled 2-channel dash cam. It looks pretty slick. I like that it's not going to be too visible in the cabin. And the DIY, the installation looks pretty straightforward. We're going to stick it on the window in the front, we're going to stick it on the back, we're going to run the cables, we're going to hide them so they can't be seen, we're going to try and figure out how to power it up, and that should be it, right? Well, let's go check it out.
All right, let's take a look at what's in the box. Oh, very nice. So this is, I guess, the first channel. This is the camera that's going to point out of the window. We've got a sticky line here. We've got protection there, protection here. Very cool. And then we've got the rear channel. This is going to go in the back window and point out. I think it's got a little cover over the lens right now. Very cool. Also another little sticky for the window. Some instructions. And then some extra goodies. SIM card. This actually can be connected to the cloud. So there is a SIM card here that you can activate. I don't know what the pricing is. I guess I'll have to take a look at that online. And then we've got our cables. Now, I am hoping to plug this into my fuse box so that I can power it directly. But I guess for convenience here, they've got the usual 12 volts cigarette lighter power cable. Yeah, okay, here is another power cable. We've got a little trim tool. I've got my own here as well, just in case. We've got a bunch of stickies, I guess, for the wires on the back window. And then we've got cable, which is going to run from the front of the car to the back of the car to connect the 2 channels together. So my plans for hardwiring this into the car changed pretty quickly after failing with about half a dozen different fuses to getting any kind of power to the camera. So for the rest of this video, we're going to be proceeding using the cigarette lighter on the passenger side, but don't worry, it's still going to look completely flush and completely seamless with everything hidden away.
BlackVue for your safe driving.
I like to do a basic power-up test and some basic configuration before I go ahead and install devices like this, just to make sure they're working the way they should and I don't need to replace it with any parts or even send the unit back. I chose not to set up the cloud at this stage. I'm going to be doing that later. All I wanted at this point was just to make sure that the camera is working, that the image quality is what it's supposed to be, and then I can get the rest of the installation going. Once I see the video and I know everything's working correctly, I'm going to mount the camera and then I'm going to start running the wires. Alright, so here's my plan. I've just popped off this little piece of trim using a trim tool and just these two clips here, and that just popped right off. I'm going to leave it dangling. The power cable, now I can see what I'm doing in here. I've popped through here and I'm going to feed down through this piece of plastic and out, so that the wire is, basically as hidden and out of view as possible. And then I'm just going to essentially use the trim tool and feed it around and get it all tucked away nicely. And then I'm going to put in the rear camera. But for now, this is what I'm up to. All right, here we go. It's all installed. I did figure out that the video footage can actually be flipped. So I much prefer this sitting, even though this says BlackVue upside down. It's easy to touch the manual recording button on the side, and the wires aren't running across the top here. So it looks like it's integrated into this sort of center part of the dash much more cleanly. You see here I've got my blend mount radar detector, my radar detector mount, and my Uniden radar detector. So from the driver's sort of view, this is sort of what I see all the time. If I look to the side, it's really not that apparent or obvious. So I feel like I'm not sort of jamming up the dash with too many gadgets and stuff. This is the thing that I see the most, and I'm used to that now. But like I say, this is kind of my driving view. And then of course, all the wires from the rear camera coming in this way, they're all completely hidden away. I had extra wire for the rear view that, I had an extra maybe 10 feet of wire that I didn't need, which I've wrapped up and I've put away inside here under the trim. And then this camera wire going to the power is going around the pillar, down and around. And of course, you can't see down there at the best of times unless you shine a light. But yeah, just sort of underneath there is where the power is. And again, sort of from the driving view, you're not going to see that at all. So a 99.9% seamless installation here, which I'm really happy with. And let's go take it out on the road and see what it's like. All right, taking it out on a road test. I've got the forward view going and the rear view going, and now let's look at them together. One of the first things I'm seeing here is that I should really either clean the lenses, make sure they're clean, or clean the window. You can see here I've got a couple of blemishes on both the forward view and actually quite a large one going across the center of the screen on the rear view. But I'm really happy with the quality of the images I'm seeing here. The 4K camera pointing forward, excellent quality. I can see quite a lot of detail. I think if I was to pause the video, I'd probably get to see what was on the road signs and hopefully even license plates. The rear view, the 1080p, as we blow that up, that looks really clear too. So very happy with how it's performing. And I've got to say, I'm surprised actually that I can hear the sound. For whatever reason, I was assuming that this was going to be muted, but you can also hear the sound in the cabin. Now, let's take a look at the night view. Yes, I definitely need to clean my windscreen here. And actually, as I remember, it was a really cold night and I was even starting to fog up the inside of the windscreen. So apologies for the quality here. But, you know, as far as night vision goes, this is really clear. You know, this is pretty much what I see in real life with the naked eye. There's no, kind of issues with seeing the roads, seeing the signs. God forbid if a deer came running out or a car popped out of one of these roads, I think I'd be pretty confident that I'd have some quality footage there to help me with my insurance claim. So overall here, I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing. One question I expect I'm going to get asked is why I chose this particular camera. So I'm going to run through my thought process here with you. The honest answer is that it was just recommended to me by another Porsche 911 owner, in fact several. But I did go through a little bit of triage on a few of the models available when I bought this. Now, one disclaimer before we go any further is that I am not an expert, as this channel name, Auto Amateur, might suggest. And there are loads of fantastic resources out there on YouTube and online that go into these models and more in loads of detail, all the detail you could want. But I'm just going to talk through my buying process. And I decided to pick a couple from Amazon that caught my eye as well, that I was also considering, and sort of stack them up side by side. Now, first of all, the number of channels, and this means the number of camera views that you get, essentially. And I say camera views because it's not just an additional camera. In the case of the BlackVue and the Rovi models here that you can see, there are 2 cameras in the 2-channel version, and there are 3 cameras in the 3-channel version. But if you look at the BlackVue N4 Pro, the 3rd camera is actually on the other side of the main camera. So the camera that looks forward also has a camera that points inside. And really, I consider that to be no additional cost. Now for me, I explicitly wanted a 2-channel system, a camera pointing forward and a camera pointing backwards. I didn't want a 3rd channel with the camera looking inside the cabin. If I was an Uber driver, that would be a really good idea for security, in which case the BlackVue would probably be the one to go for. The other category I considered straight away at the top of my list was resolution. And the standard seems to be 4K forward and 1080p rear, and that's what we're seeing here. Given the whole point of a dash cam is to record what you're seeing around you, I think resolution is probably at the top of anyone's list. There are some options out there I saw that have 2.7K or just a general 2K camera pointing back, but by and large, the ones that I was looking at were just like this. Now, 4K looking forward is fantastic. I don't know why there isn't a 4K camera on the back, because you're just as likely to get hit in the rear end as far as my experience tells me as you are from the front, but I guess that's just the way it is. The other thing I personally look for are reviews, and I trust the reviews that are on Amazon probably more than any other online resource, because they do verify their reviews, at least they tell you they do. Now, interestingly enough here, the BlackVue camera that I bought has the lowest of the reviews, a 3.5 out of 5 stars, where the other 3 each get 4.5 out of 5. Now, from my own research, there are potentially some reliability issues with the image sensor and the camera within the BlackVue unit. Now, I've heard of a few cases where the camera image isn't quite so sharp on one side of the image as it is on the other, and there've also been some reports of video playback issues where the video files have been corrupted. But from what I understand, these cases are really rare. Power options was the other category I considered. Ideally, I did want this to be hardwired into the fuse box, and you can see here that there's only the Rediger that doesn't offer the hardwiring option. The other 3 do allow you to hardwire it. Having said that, only the BlackVue and the BlackVue, from what I can tell, actually provide you with the hardwiring kit free of charge. Rovi is possible, but you have to buy it extra.
I imagine you can probably find one for the Rediger, but that wasn't readily available online from the research that I did. Next up, we're considering special features, and there are loads of different features that these manufacturers talk about to try and set their products apart from the rest of the herd. Here we're going to summarize just some of the ones that were most important for me. And you can see here, just at the highest level, that BlackVue kind of checked all of the boxes for me. Voice activation, night vision, inbuilt GPS, having a SIM card for always-on connectivity, and the cloud features. The BlackVue seems to stand apart from all of these in these areas, and like I say, this is what ultimately sold me on the camera, assuming that the camera is reliable and will give me superior image quality. If you look at the review from Vortex Radar, they also say that the cloud capabilities of the BlackVue are superior to all the others. Things like downloading content and remote access to the car, all really impressive and what I want. Now, speaking of superior image quality, we come on to the camera sensor type in our penultimate category here, and everybody's talking about the Starvis 2 sensor from Sony, which apparently is the best of the best. And if we look at the 4 cameras that we're considering, 3 of them out of the 4 have the Starvis 2 sensor. The one that has the CMOS sensor, that, from what I understand, is an older Sony sensor and doesn't perform as well as the Starvis 2. Finally, price. Price, of course, I think is a big consideration for anyone buying technology like this, but I wanted to leave this till the end. As you can see here, the BlackVue is actually the most expensive in the lineup, $80 ahead of second place, which is the Vantrue. And actually, the Vantrue seems to get fantastic reviews from not only Vortex Radar, but other places you'll find online which have credible reviews of dash cams. Now, it's probably to do with all of the non-camera related features and functions, which arguably aren't as important as having rock-solid image capture performance from a camera. But given that it has a Starvis 2 sensor, given that it does have relatively good reviews, and it has all of the features that I wanted, I did ultimately end up going for the BlackVue. And again, it was recommended to me by lots of other 911 owners. So I'm sticking with the 911 crowd, and I've gone with the BlackVue. Well, that's it for another DIY auto amateur video. Thanks for checking in. That really wasn't too difficult at all. I can't believe I've had that sat on my my workbench there for months, even before the holidays, and I haven't yet done the install. But now it's up and running. I've given it a road test. The quality of the video is exceptional. It's high def video. It's easy to install. It's easy to power up. It's easy to access and configure via the cloud, and it's pretty easy to download the content to your phone. So far I'm super impressed, but of course, I always get super excited with these things at first glance. So let's see how I feel in a couple of months' time. But yeah, I'm pretty hopeful for this thing. More exhaust videos coming with my Soul Performance partners. The headers are going to be installed, and then we've got a bunch of combinations to test with the headers and the Sport Cats and the valved exhaust. And I'm really still not sure where I'm going to land, but we'll see. Thanks for checking in, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.